All right, and I think that we are live. Hey, everybody. Glad to be here tonight. My name is Dee Corchin, and I am a certified coach, and glad to be here with Meg Johnson tonight. We've been doing some talking and listening to you and found that there was just a need for this training. So thanks for coming out. Our topic tonight is how to coach a coach. So we do a lot of talking about sponsoring coaches and how to get coaches started, but this is really about what do you do once you have a coach on your team? How can you best support them? And we really kind of want you to walk away, like our purpose for doing this is a couple of things. First of all, we want to share and help you save time because we know that time is valuable. And so we want to show you how that you can coach other coaches, how that will ultimately save you time, but also going to talk about some mindset stuff so that you can see maybe relieve some of the mental space and the mental time that you spend thinking about coaching or how to best support other people, or are you doing it well, or what should you be doing. We also want to demystify it. Really want to just show you how simple it can be, and really that we really are just in the business of duplication, and then want to spend some time just showing you the true impact that you can make when you partner with other people and help other coaches be successful, and actually what it can really do for you and show you what's possible for with coaching coaches. So Meg, you want to share a little bit, say hello?
Absolutely. Welcome, guys. Really excited to be here tonight. And thank you. Thank you for showing up. It is Thursday night. You could have been anywhere, but you are right here, ready to get to work and how to grow your business into the business of your dreams. And so I get fired up about that. And it's just a privilege to be here, spend some time with y'all. So really, when Dee and I were talking, there's three things we want you to leave tonight with. And so we thought we'd start with there. The first thing is that coaching coaches really is simple. So at the end of tonight, we're going to help you see just how simple it is. The second takeaway we want you to see is we want you to find out how to actually work with your coach to figure out their why. So we're going to spend a lot of time digging into that. And then finally, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details and to actually showing you how to coach a coach. And we're even going to show you some back office reports and Optavia Connect and all kinds of fun stuff. But we are going to really get into the nitty gritties. And but before we do that, we have a question for you. So if we were able to show you how coaching another coach could essentially save you time, increase your impact for the number of people you're helping, and increase the financial impact and the financial freedom that you're experiencing, would you be willing to work through your fears in order to get to the other side, in order to be able to benefit from all of those things? And if so, would you comment below and in the chat and say, I am in? And let's make the decision if you want to be in. And it's okay if you're not sure. They're already coming in. This is awesome. All right, everybody, I love it. Everybody's saying, I am in. I'm all in. Love it. That's awesome. So here's our challenge, and as those responses are still coming in, that's awesome. Please utilize this chat feature throughout our call. We'd love to know if we say something that you're like, man, that was good. Let us know. If we say something that scares you, we want to know that too. Or if we say something and you're like, I don't know what that is. So blow up this chat. We want this to be interactive. And we would just ask you if you would be where your feet are planted on this Zoom right now and not scrolling in Facebook or Instagram or chasing somebody or whatever, but just be all in for these next few minutes that we're going to spend together. And then the last thing we're going to ask of you, and this might be the hardest thing that you might have to continue doing throughout tonight's call, it's to accept where you are right now in your business. And don't shame yourself into thinking about where you think you should be, but just accept where you are and see what can happen tonight. So that's really what we want you to take away from tonight's call, and that's really what we'd ask of you. And what I would love is, Dee, I'd love if you could share a little bit of your personal story and your coaching testimony. I think it always fires us all up.
Yeah, I'm happy to, because I know that we've got a lot of coaches on this call tonight. Everybody comes from a different experience level, a different place. And just, you don't necessarily know my story or all of Meg's story. So I started coaching 9 years ago. And honestly, I'm just going to be really transparent because I just want to touch with maybe where you are. But I honestly came into coaching thinking about this being a weight loss program, that I could help people lose weight and get healthy. And that's where I felt was kind of my comfort zone of what I felt I could help people with, because the program had helped me with that. And even though I had this business and I was starting to earn income from doing that, I had kind of a disconnect and some fears from the coaching coaches part of it. And my vision was small for the business. I came in, I had not been working for a while, not making a lot of income. And so I honestly wanted to make $1,000 a month. And that happened. And then I made executive director and whatever, and started helping a lot of people and was making around 3,000 a month. And I really liked it, like that was good and that was comfortable. And I'm just going to tell you that comfortable is like a dirty word in Optavia, because there is so much more within you. If you, whatever level that you are at, there's so much more within you. And I started to be awakened to that and really started to see if I was making this per month, like who else could benefit from this, right? There are other people that could benefit from this. And we know that it also helps people with the longevity of keeping their weight off and all that. So I had to make a shift and start to realize that, you know what, I had a lot to offer. And that's a big part of being successful with acquiring and then supporting coaches, is truly believing that what you have can change their life, right? It is something that is of value to them. And I was caught up for a long time in concepts. I thought, well, they're just coming to lose some weight. Like if I start offering this business, it's going to be weird. Like I just had all this chatter in my head that prevented me, honestly, from fully showing up and being engaged with people to have a conversation about how it could actually benefit them. So I worked with my mentorship. I attended trainings like this, and I grew through the process because I also had lots of fears and doubts. Like, could I do it? What would it require of me? Would I be a good coach? What would a leader be like? And I started getting way ahead of myself in my thinking. I often got derailed and jealous of people side to side, like Meg said, of feeling like I should be further along. But at the end of the day, what it came down to is you have a choice. When you see the people around you that are successful, you have a choice to let it put you down or say, you know what? They did it. I can do this too. And that's basically the place that I came to, and just realized that I just needed to work through these fears. And that is through fear, that through working through that, you can actually start to gain experience and get better at it and build the confidence. And just really, I sit here honestly in amazement of being an integrated presidential director. But what I can tell you that means that we have over 500 coaches on our team, you guys. We've helped, I haven't looked lately, but I'm sure almost 10,000 people. Like the impact is tremendous. What it's done to me and fulfilled in me is incredible. And then what it's done for our family, it created high executive level income to the point that it not only supported me, it allowed Larry to leave a corporate job where he didn't feel fulfilled anymore. So supporting both of us at a high level, that we are able to do major renovations on our home, go travel. We just purchased a second home so we can have a dual residence. So it just created things that only could happen because I was willing to dive into helping people become coaches and help them achieve their dreams and what they wanted. And when it's no longer about you and about other people, just watch out on what can change. And Meg is somebody that I got to partner with along the way. And Meg was one that I was nervously asking about coaching along the way. And she told me no a couple of times. But Meg, it's been fun to watch you because you've had some fundamental shifts in your desire to help coaches, and then what happened when you embraced it.
Absolutely. When I first became a coach, I was just excited to have clients, and I was all about how many clients can I have and how many people can I help, and just in that little bubble. And that bubble felt really safe. But Dee started helping me dream bigger and see bigger, and she helped me really be open to this idea of coaching coaches. And I was resistant because I had a scarcity mindset. Like, well, if I bring on a coach who's helped somebody, that'll be less clients for me. And I have found that to be absolutely not true. And when I can come at my business from a place of abundance, everybody wins. my clients win, my coaches win, we all win, right? So I had a big shift in my mindset on abundance. And what I've realized, like almost, 3.5 years into coaching, there will always be people that need help. But a lot of times the people that, your friends and family of your clients will only come on as clients if their friend coaches them, right? And so now being at the place that I am now in the business and seeing so many lives transformed because I offered this gift of coaching, and to see moms come home from working full-time jobs and seeing families go on trips to Disney World and have opportunities, it fires me up because I know what's possible. And it wasn't always easy. I had to get out. It's simple, right? Our business plan is simple, but it's not always easy because we have fears. We're human. So really excited tonight to be able to explore some of those mindset shifts and some of those fears that hold us back sometimes. And excited to see what breakthroughs are going to come out of your decision to be here tonight.
So we are going to get to the nitty gritty of the how, right? I'm sure you're sitting there like that's fine, that's great, but just tell me how to do it. What do I do? Just tell me what to do. And but we're going to back it up a little bit. And I want you to pop in the chat if you know the answer to this question. What are the 3 fundamentals that will bring you success in Optavia? What does it require to be successful in Optavia? There's 3 things. Dan Bell talks about them all the time, every single training. See, mindset, motivation, mindset, skill set. Motivation, mindset, skill. Motivation, yeah, there it is. Motivation, mindset, skill. So who knows the percentage? Motivation and mindset. What percent of your success, and that's going to be in all of Optavia and in sponsoring and supporting coaches, what percent of it is related to your motivation and your mindset? 80%, 80? Yeah, it's at least 80. I've even heard 90%. So we're going to just spend a little bit of time before we get into the nitty gritty, because one of the biggest mistakes we can make, and I'll tell you, I certainly did it as a coach, is jumping to the how too soon, right? And when we can give people a to-do list and a checklist and this and that, but if we're not clear on our motivation and we're not laser focused on and clear in our mind about what we're offering people, we're just not going to do the things. We're just not going to do it. We're going to have every reason not to, and we're going to be busy with our life and this and that, even though what we truly want is something to be successful in this business. So drop for me in the chat. There's a few key reasons why somebody becomes a coach. And so I just want to see with this group, we've got 37 people on the call. Drop in the chat, what was the primary reason why you became a coach? To make impact, help my mom, purpose and accountability, stay accountable. I get to work with D. That's my husband. That's awesome. My sister, income, no financial worries. Successful. Yeah, good. So Meg, why don't you go ahead and pull up the slide on what we know are the primary reasons why somebody would step into coaching. And so all of the reasons you guys said are the reasons. Impact, time freedom, right? How many people do you know have jobs that maybe they even like their job, but it's just crushing them on their time, right? And that we know that a business like ours is flexible. We can help them create the income and be flexible. It's your own health insurance for keeping your weight off. Income for community, right? A lot of us just love being a part of this, and it's fun. Right? So remember that when you're talking to your coaches, that we're not going to talk about how to acquire a coach or how to launch them. We've already trained on that in other trainings. This is about once they're here, they've made this decision and we're helping them move forward. Remember, these are the primary reasons why they came in. Now, just say yes in the comments. Has your vision gotten bigger since you became a coach? Have you started to maybe want a little bit more? Just say yes in the comments if you started to want a little bit more than what yeah. And that's very, very normal. So that is part of our role, is for ourselves to be continually evolving, and then also to be helping our coaches see what's possible. So we get paid really well for doing well. And I just want to pop to the next screen just to give you an idea and really ask the question, do you know what's possible? with OptiV. I'm hoping that you can see that, that it's clear. But you know, it's got here, now this is, of course, all subject to, you know, every individual business is individual. I've got a little disclaimer here on the left, but these are some averages of what people make. And just to give you an idea, like look at with an executive director, you know, executive director making, you know, close to $2,800 a month. I mean, my goodness, you guys, that's a mortgage payment. That's replacing a lot of people's income, a teacher, things like that. It can replace an income or allow them to stay home because they wouldn't have childcare. Even if like somebody is a manager, $600 a month as a manager, you guys, that's a car payment. There's so many things. And there, I actually heard Dan Bell talk one time about the fact that $500 can save a marriage, that people fight and divorce over money, you know? So think about the freedom that we could be helping somebody with, or it could be helping you with by growing your business. And of course, we've got integrated executive directors all the way up to IPD. Now, Larry wants me to put a disclaimer on and let you know that he and I are bringing down the average right now on IPD. We're growing. Yeah, we're still growing IPD. So, but I just wanted to let you know that these numbers are real. And Meg and I chatted about this just to give you an idea. I glanced at last month for August in our organization. So now we've got, you know, a great amount of coaches. We've got Larry and I who are integrated presidentials. We've got 2 global directors. We have 2 integrated national directors. We have 8 people that are fully integrated business coaches. And we have 40 people, you guys, that are executive director or above in terms of executive director or regional director. So these numbers are real, and it's very, very possible for you. And it's very, very possible for the coaches that you're sponsoring. So we want to be comfortable with this and comfortable with the fact that it's okay to make really good income doing what you're doing. But also I want you to be able to talk through with your coach and work on dreams. And it's not about the money, but it's about what does it represent? How can it change your family? And we're going to talk in a minute about those kind of dream questions. So, a lot of times people will say, well, I don't know how to dream, or I'm working with this coach and I'm telling them all the things to do and they're just not doing them. And what that generally means is that they're probably not clear on why they're doing it, right? And anytime we get fuzzy, you see it all the time with your clients. Anytime you get fuzzy on your destination, the actions just don't support it because you don't really know where you're going. So Meg, if you want to put up the 4 questions that I just love this slide, and you guys might want to screenshot it, or I would say screenshot it or take a picture of it, because I have used these questions more often in the past 2 weeks than ever. But the first question is, when you're working, you know, for yourself, I want you first to ask yourself these questions, but then these are questions that you work with your coaches on. And the first one's as simple as, what do you want? What do you want? What would you do if you could not fail? What would it look like? Let's wipe the fear out. Let's wipe all that out. What would it look like for you? And then the second question is, what's important about having it? Why? So maybe somebody might say, I want to leave my career. Okay, great. What's important about having that? What would that mean to you? Go deeper. I love the other one. How will you know if you have achieved it? Sometimes people will say, I just want to help people. Great. What does that look like to you? Is that helping 2 people? Is that helping 5? What would it feel like if you helped 50 people this year? Just help to awaken them to that. And I love this last question. When you're achieving your goals, who else will benefit from it? So you might be thinking about your kids, right? Larry and I think about the legacy that we're leaving for our kids. We think about all of you guys on this call and lives that are being changed. We think about all the lives that are being changed and impacted. So these dream questions are not selfish, because as Mark Batterson says in Chase the Lion, your dream usually is part of somebody else's dream, which creates new dreams for other people. So I want to bring on Julie Apple. Julie, you have been coaching for several years. You can bring us up to speed on exactly how long, but you've had some fundamental shifts in your approach to coaching, your mindset around it, and then what it's done for you in terms of financial and time. Can you unmute yourself and come on?
Hey guys, yeah.
Hi. Awesome.
So do you want me to start, Dee, with kind of where
Yeah.
background a little bit?
Yeah.
So Dee and I knew each other thanks to Larry. He connected us, and I come from the personal training background. And so I'll be honest, when I first started coaching, it was literally just to help my training clients. And I just wanted a tool for them. So I just saw this as a great program for them. And that's how I looked at it. And I now I look at it, I'm like, there was a wall there for sure. Cause that's all I saw. It was a tool for my clients. So then fast forward about 3 years, I started to get to a place where I guess I got a little bit maybe bored, or I felt like there was a wall there. I felt like I was kind of stuck. And I felt like, I remember saying to Dee, what do I do now? Like, I don't want to coach coaches. That's not what I do. I'm not a coach. I train clients. And so Dee really encouraged me to start the personal development side. And that was when I started getting involved in some of the Paul Blanchard groups, and realized I need to grow. Like, if I'm going to move forward or get out of this stuck feeling, I probably have to grow. And so that was about 2 years ago. And since then, I ended up getting married. I ended up having a baby, a lot of life changes. But what's really neat is that now I have a 4-month-old, and I have so much more time freedom because I'm helping coaches. And I figured out that I actually love helping coaches. Who knew, right? So it was a definite mindset change, because I was willing to grow and I was willing to explore that. And then through Dee and Larry, and I started working with Amy Kemp one-on-one, and she really challenged me. The 6 months before I had Lily was probably some of the best 6 months of my life, because she challenged me to think bigger and how am I going to help people? Why do I even coach coaches? And just really, she challenged me every time we connected. And so that propelled me to, oh gosh, I actually enjoy this. And she taught me it just takes helping them with next steps. It's not about teaching them everything tomorrow. It's the next step. And that's what I had to do for myself. Instead of being overwhelmed by it all, it was just, what's the next step for you, Julie? So that's kind of in a nutshell. Does that help a little bit, Dee?
Yeah, that was a big shift for you. And I think where a lot of us can get clogged up is we get way ahead of ourselves. And I actually had somebody say to me the other day, it was an experienced coach, and she said, I think I have a runner. Like, I don't know what to do with a runner. Like, I think she's just going to take off. And I said, you let her run. You let her run. Like, this is fun. Like, don't get why like, all of a sudden we can get ourselves all clogged up. Or we just, we will be saying like, yes, I want to grow, but at the same time we're scared. And I think I saw that for you for a while, because you were getting ahead of yourself. And then when you realize it's just one thing, just what's the next thing? Teach them how to acquire clients, teach them how to support clients, teach them how to sponsor. And I just want to say, like, when you're in this, and Meg is going to touch on all of this, like Julie mentioned mentorship. Julie mentioned personal growth. That can look like anything. It can be books you read, etc. But it's just what we're doing to work through the cobwebs and the chatter in our head to get through to what it is that we really want. And your vision grew. And now, Julie, you make significantly more income, right? And you mentioned earlier how much less time.
And I stopped doing personal training last year. So about 1.5 years ago, I'm able to stop training, which was my baby, and that's what I love. But I realized having a family, I couldn't do it all. And so now it's a definite blessing to be able to coach and work from home.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's been fun to watch you grow. And then now you've got a team of people, you have leaders on your team. So what's different now? Because there's a difference when you're kind of looking out for yourself and now you're looking out for your team. So what is that like?
I think it comes with some responsibility, but it also comes with so much reward, because now I can see like some of my coaches that are able to buy houses that they never thought they could, and coaches that are like traveling that they never were able to do before, all these opportunities that they are dreaming bigger. And it's, hey, what do you want next? Like, just keep moving the ball forward. And it's so much more like freeing, I guess, is the way I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see Optavia bigger now?
Just a little bit.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's really the highlights that we wanted to start with tonight, before I pass to Meg and get more into the how of all of this. But like Larry just said, the ripple effect of this is crazy, but it really just shows when our motivation changes, and we start working through those mindset issues, what is really, really possible. So Meg, why don't you take us a little bit deeper?
Awesome. Can't wait. And let's too, Dee, share with them some of the fears. Because
Oh gosh.
thinking right now, there's probably people on this call sitting in fear saying, yeah, that sounds great for Julie, sounds great for Dee or Meg or whatever, but I've got a lot of fear. So there's typically about 4 fears that come up, right? So first one, I don't know how. So the good news is you're on the call, you're about to find out how. So that's great. Mark that fear right out. The second fear that we hear time and time again is I'm afraid I'm going to be responsible for my coach's success or their failure. And the reality is you're not responsible. Some will, some won't, everybody can. That's one of the phrases that we use around here, right? So being reminded that we aren't responsible. All we have to do is show up for our coaches. That's all we're asked to do. The other concern or fear that we hear a lot of times is you got to be an expert. Like maybe I'll coach a coach when I got this all figured out. 3 years in, y'all, I'm still figuring it out. Like, and this is just a part of it. Indeed, wouldn't you say the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't ever, and one of my mantras I say to myself is the greatest thing I'll figure out is that I'm never going to figure it out. The only way, the only way you get better with coaching coaches, and what I learned, is through practice and experience. Use your mentorship, learning from them. But until we start doing it, we can just freeze ourselves up. And I just sat there frozen for so long. But yeah, just action defeats fear every time. And it's not that fear doesn't exist. Meg and I, even today, we're chatting a little bit about, like, are we ready? Do we have what we need and whatnot? And so really successful people, Darren Hardy just talked about this, really successful people create tension. They operate on tension. They operate despite the fear. They operate despite that, to continue to challenge themselves, to continue to grow and move forward. So if we can allow ourselves to just be a beginner and grow through this process, you're going to realize how much simpler it is, and that that the pressure on ourselves is not needed.
Yeah, and that's so key right there. The other fear that we hear a lot of times is that people don't have enough time. Like, I don't know that I have enough time to coach coaches. The great thing about coaching coaches is it's all about time freedom. It will free you up significantly. So that's something, to keep in mind. But I love what you said, Dee, about what to do with the fear, because we have choices. We can sit in the fear and decide, like, I don't know, that hill is big or whatever, or we can just jump into action. Another great thing to do is speak up, speak your fears, share them with your mentorship team. And then the big one that has been key in my growth, especially in the last few months, has been personal development. So leaders are learners. You're leaders because you're on the call tonight, right? You're learning. But personal development will help so much push through that fear and get to the other side. So just wanted to mention that. So now let's talk about the how. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how we're actually going to coach a coach. The number one, or one of the things that we want to do when we're coaching a coach, is help them with time management, right? So we want to be asking questions often to find out, when are you doing your client support? Remind me, what does your client support look like? Want to make sure that our coaches aren't calling clients every single day, right? But they're following the system of getting the client into fat burn, and then it's a once a week check-in call. That really is only 5 to 10 minutes. Doesn't need to be a 30-minute call. That's the number one thing I see that happens with coaches, is they start to have longer calls with their clients, and then they get overwhelmed. Another thing you can do to help somebody with time management is to ask, are you feeling overwhelmed? Let's talk about it, and you can get them into creation mode and start brainstorming things to fix the overwhelm. When a new coach is just getting started, we recommend running hip to hip with them. So it's similar to a game of basketball, right? So we'll send them the basketball, they'll send it back to us. There's a phrase that we say a lot, and it's that they're going to set the pace and we'll help them set the course. So you're probably going to talk to them more frequently as they're just getting started to see if they have questions or see if they're working on any of their action steps. And that really brings us to mentorship calls. So we really want to have mentorship calls with our coaches. And what we recommend is a 10 to 15 minute call with our coaches. and up to a 30-minute call with coaches that really want to grow, that are ready to sit down and do what it takes. And maybe they have dreams and goals of making executive director or getting to that next step, spending 30 minutes with them just once a week. So it's not a daily commitment, but it's showing up for them probably similarly to how your coach shows up for you in form of a mentorship call. It does help if it's at a consistent time of day each week, but definitely you talk to your mentorship line about what that could look like for you. And by the way, we're about to give you the framework for what a coaching call looks like when you're coaching another coach. So the questions to ask, how to show up for them, that is coming in just a couple of minutes. But before that, another great way to be supporting your new coach or a coach that's been around a while is to be encouraging them to bring clients to you or to the next FIBIC for tips, celebration calls, and coach explores. And so what we recommend doing for your coaches is to ask them, which 2 clients can you reach out to, and can we try to schedule a tips call next week? Which of your clients have the greatest coaching potential? Who's been following the plan really well, or you can ask probing questions like that to see who might be their next coaching candidate. So recommend that. And that question of who is your next coach? And it's okay if there's silence. It's okay. That probably means that coach is thinking about it. And if they don't have coaches that they're coaching, it's a whole new thing for them to even be thinking about and exploring. So I love a little bit of awkward silence because that means somebody's thinking. A breakthrough is about to happen. I think it's a really good sign. And if you have a coach that has been resistant to scheduling these tips, celebration calls with the next FIBIC in your mentorship line, it'd be a good idea to ask, I'm just curious, what's getting in your way? Just to be curious. It could be that there's a fear. It could be that they need help with the language. Could be lots of things. Could be that they don't know how important it is. So asking that question and just being curious, like no judgment, but just curious. And the game of basketball really helps so much. We get to go at their pace. We don't want to be pushing anybody. We just want to run hip to hip. We know what's possible. And so I oftentimes will have a new coach. I will say, like, let me know when you're ready for the next step. Like, here's what you can work on right now. Let me know when you're ready for something new, when you're ready to, do something different. So that game of basketball makes a big difference. All right, let's talk about Dee. We made a document for you all on some key questions to be thinking about. And the really cool thing, it's called CEO glasses. So whether you know it or not, you have all been promoted. You are a CEO. You are the CEO of your business. And so for a lot of us, for me, that's a new thing. But there are some ways that you can be looking at your business that's going to help so much as you start to coach these coaches. So Dee, do you want to share more about that?
Yeah, I will. We're going to have this as a printout for you guys. And Meg, is it possible that you can pull that up? I don't have my copy in front of me right now. But being the CEO of your business, and we're just going to pop this up for a minute, what being the CEO of your business means is that the CEO is the decision maker. Is the person that is looking at their business with the goggles from an aerial view saying, what does my team need? How can I help them? And realize, like Meg said, you're not responsible for them, but it really is a shift from, am I going to have enough clients to meet my rank this month? Am I going to be where I need to be? To also, where's my team? What do they need? Are they close to their next rank? Going to an event is no longer, or a training like this is no longer just about you, but is it also about who's coming with me? And there are questions to ask about, or how are you modeling for your coaches? If you're on this call, you're doing a good job because you're showing up for trainings. But are you showing up for trainings? Are you teaching a sponsoring mindset? Are you actively participating and encouraging the celebrations and tips calls? So we put this all in question format because, again, like Meg said, we want you to enter this without judgment, but just look at it in terms of where do I stand, and realize it's just a couple of simple things that we're doing. And one thing we definitely want to point out is to remember that you are always a coach's health coach first. So we always want to be leading with their health, because we know there's a direct correlation with their health and their business. And I know I've been guilty of it. It's really easy when we get going with the business side of it to forget about the health. But remember that you're their health coach, and they'll continue to place their orders under you as their coach for that. So we'll have this document available for you. We think it's going to be really helpful.
Absolutely. And so let's dive in to talking about what a typical coaching call looks like. So here's what kind of a framework for you. We always want to start, like Dee said, with how their personal health is. So that's the first question. That's where we start. And then we like to ask, what action steps did you take from last week's call? So you had a call. They probably had a list of things to do. Did they do them? And if so, what happened? If not, why not? What got in their way? What fears? What mindset shifts? And then there's some questions that we ask. Number one, we want to ask, hey, what questions do you have? Do you have any questions for me? What we recommend is for our coaches to consolidate their questions throughout the week if they can, if it's not an urgent need, and bring all of their questions to this mentorship call. So it's one time, it'll be more efficient for both parties. And that's a great way to say, okay, tell me your list. What's on your list? Also asking, what is on your mind? That is a loaded question, especially right now, but that is probably one of the best questions you can ask. What is on your mind? Where do you need support? You're just wanting to create a conversation. And really this mentorship call is designed to be mostly the other coach talking. And you as the mentor, you're there for support. You're there to be a listening ear. You're there to listen, which is great because we can do that, right? You don't have to have all the answers. Certainly, we don't. But we just create a safe space for them to think and be. Then we always end a coaching call with, what action steps are they going to take over the next week? What are they going to commit to doing? And then you can decide what kind of accountability you want to put in there. So very simple, y'all, step by step, how it goes. I recommend having a couple of things on hand. It's helpful to know where they are in terms of their goal. So maybe their goal is senior coach. Okay, how many ordering entities do they have? What's their volume looking like this month? And then knowing what they want, knowing what their why is. And if you don't have it yet, that's okay. If you might be sitting there scrambling, being like, oh, I don't know what somebody's why is. That's okay. It's not too late. The great thing with coaching is it is never too late. So we're going to talk about that a little bit at the end, but we want to know what they want, because what they want in their why is going to help them move past some of the fears and the concepts to get them to the other side. All right, so let's talk about for a minute how to help a coach see and reach their goals. So here are some things to be looking at, and we're going to actually show you the nitty-gritty reports in just a second. But we want to be knowing, okay, are they close to the next rank? Most coaches don't know that yet, right? They don't know how close they are. And so find out how close they are. Ask them, how close are you to associate director? How close are you to director? And then we always recommend finding out, are they certified? And we recommend that coaches get certified when they have between 5 and 7 clients. So their frontline volume is around $2,000 in frontline qualifying volume. And that's going to help for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're going to make 3% on every order forever, which is amazing. And then also they're going to be eligible for those consistency bonuses. So that brings us to the consistency bonus. And also when a coach gets certified, you know, like they are in it, right? Like that's a good sign that like they are ready to do this thing, right? They are in the game with you. The consistency bonus is, there's 3 different ones. So you can, if your frontline qualifying volume is around $2,000 for 3 months in a row, you get a $250 bonus. If it's $4,000 3 months in a row, you get a $500 bonus. And then if it's $6,000 3 months in a row, they get a whopping $1,000. And you can get those consistency bonuses up to 4 times a year. So that could be up to $4,000. Y'all, that's a trip to Disney World. That's amazing. Other reports that help is the CAB report, which lets you know any of your new coaches in your organization, how many days they have left to earn their CAB, which is their first 5 clients within 30 days. And then the team rank report will let you know who has ranked up that needs to be celebrated. That's always a good thing to do and a lot of fun. All right, so let's talk about one of the best tools for helping move a coach. And I've got to tell you, this time, right now, this very week, is one of the best times to be having this conversation. So this is a lot of times what I'll say, and people on this line right now probably have received these texts from me in the last couple of days. But I'll say, hey, Sally, I see that you are one client away from making senior coach. If we can find one more person to help, you're going to earn $130 more. Is that something you want to run for? And you notice there that we said that you are one more person to help. We didn't let her know how much volume she needed. We brought it into terms of a life that we can change. And then you just be quiet and you see if Sally wants to run for it. And so if she does, I would say, Sally, I totally see this happening for you. What could you do to find that next person? What could you do? And then she might come up with her own ideas. That's way better than you just giving her all the ideas you could ever dream of, because that can be overwhelming. So see if Sally can come up with her own list first. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit of math. I'm now a first grade homeschooling teacher, so I'm pretty confident in my math skills right now, but math makes people anxious. So I feel like we just need to take a deep breath. This is simple. This is going to be great, okay? But I'm going to tell you the calculation I used to see what that dollar figure is. Like for Sally, it was $130 more, okay? So what we do is we take a coach's current orders or their current qualifying volume. You can see that right there on their profile. And then I add their projected orders for the remainder of the month, their projected qualifying volume, and that gives me their expected total orders. Simple math. Everybody following me? Can I have a thumbs up? All right, got some thumbs ups. Okay, so now let's look at the actual numbers. And there's some people out there that are loving this and some people that might be getting overwhelmed. So it's whatever category you're in, it is okay. So I'll show you the calculation. So Sally's current qualifying volume was $707. Her projected is $442. So I added those together and I saw she only has 4 entities. She needs 5 to be a senior coach. So she's at $1,149. So what I did was I said, you know what, she's already earning 15%. She's a health coach, right? But if she got to senior coach, she'd make 5% more. So I did 5% times $1,149 and I got $57. And then I took a new box, which is $364 times 20%, because she hadn't gotten paid on that yet because that person hasn't been inspired yet. And that would be almost $73. And you add those $2 together and it's $130. So that is a powerful calculation because it shows somebody money in their pocket, what could be possible. There are a couple of reports in your back office in Optavia Connect that will change your life when you're coaching coaches. You don't have to use any of them, but they will simplify things and give you information a lot faster. So we're going to go over a couple of those, and here are just some easy screenshots. And we're just going to kind of have a bird's eye view, but this one's called the tree view. Dee and Larry use this one all the time. Heard about it from Dan Bell, who loves this tree view report. So you click client support when you're in Optavia Connect, and then you click tree view. And here's a view. This was another coach that was so kind to just let us take a peek at her account. But this shows you over here, this is the coach. And then these are all her frontline coaches, okay? So you see here, this frontline coach has 2 coaches. This frontline coach has a coach who has 2 coaches. What is beautiful about this report, it shows you a picture of your organization, but if you hover over the names of these coaches, a snapshot of their business on the month shows up. So you can easily see, oh, so-and-so, a couple of levels in is close to their next rank, and it just simplifies things for you. So recommend just playing in there. The other report that's great to run is click engage on your main page and click close to consistency. This will help you see which coaches are coming up for their consistency bonus. And today I did it for my team, and I found out one of my coaches was right on the border between earning a $500 consistency bonus and a $1,000 consistency bonus. If you could make $500 in the next week and your commission, wouldn't you want to do that? right? So it's a great way for you to show your coaches you're looking out for them because they may not see it. And it helps to get them into action because, I mean, that's free money there, right? And to change somebody's life at that, how cool is that? So here's just really quickly how I do it. So when you pull up the consistency thing, or bonus, just like I showed you. So you click on this close to consistency, the person's or all the people's names will show up, and you just click on their client ID number. It's a link, and you get to their profile page. And so what I do is I click over here in profile, and there's 3 options. I want volume. So I go to volume, and here's a snapshot. I only care about 2 months in this report. I care about not the current month, not September, but August and July. So what I do here is I know they're on the border, right? So I add these 2 numbers together, and I know the goal is for it to be, it's like a simple law of average equation. I don't feel like we probably don't need to go into that, but that's where you go to see how to help them. So you go into that report, and it makes, I mean, it is, and that is so exciting to be able to help somebody earn an extra $1,000. How cool is that? A couple other reports that you'll want to know about is one is on this engage button. You click engage and close to rank. This will show you coaches that are close to senior coach, executive director, and FIBIC. So that's a great thing to know, just easily see. And then let's talk about how I pulled those reports to see how we did that calculation a few minutes ago, because you're probably wondering, where did all those numbers come from? So in order to find the projected frontline qualifying volume, I click client support, and this will be a hyperlink. So I click this hyperlink, and this page shows up. So what you want to do when this page shows up is click organization. So it'll show you all your coaches on your team. And you can click here and sort by business coach name. You can also download an Excel spreadsheet right here if you want to. I love doing that. And then just one thing to know, there's 2 different dollar figures here. One is a projected premier qualifying volume, and one's a premier total. You want the qualifying volume because that's what's going to qualify them for their rank. So that's important. Do the same thing for the month-to-date orders, same action steps. It's also really easy to do month-to-date because it's in everybody's profile or when you pull your coach's report. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you want to see your CAB report, you just go to the Engage button and click CAB. Super simple. And the same is true for that team rank report that we talked about. So we're going to post this. The recording will be there for you. But here's what we want you to come away with, because I know some of you, your eyes are glazing over and you're like, oh, what are all those numbers? I'm a health coach. I'm not a calculus major. So just have fun with it. Play around in Optavia Connect. Turn it into a game. So you're like, well, I wonder if I could find that silly report Meg pulled up. And maybe start with implementing just one of these things. You don't need to do them all. And I recommend talking to your mentorship team, figuring out which one you should prioritize first. And remember that these are tools, like they are just tools. All your coach needs is so simple. They just need you to show up for them. They need you to believe in them and love on them and create a safe place for them to have their fears and work through their concepts. So even if you feel overwhelmed right now, or you don't take away any of these to-dos, do that. Just show up, schedule that mentorship call, and love on them and see the difference it makes in their life and in their business and in what's possible. All right, Dee, that's all I got on the how.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, I think at the end of the day, and really trying to show you that from a skills standpoint, what you're looking to help a coach with is the 4 things that we do, helping them learn how to acquire clients. You know how to do that. You do health assessments with them, right? We know where the trainings are that you can give them regarding that. You're going to help them, show them how to do client support, like Meg said, help them with their time management around that. Teach them a sponsoring mindset. Do those, have them working the tips calls and whatever, and learning how to talk and drip about coaching and inviting people to coaching. And then just like this, when a coach comes on, we're teaching them how to do what we just, what we're doing there. So Dan Bell simplified this. He calls it the 6 fundamental skills. We want to learn them ourselves, and then we want to be able to do them with somebody else and, teach them and then transfer those skills. That's what we're looking to do. It's not designed to be complicated. And then like Meg said, this was some nitty gritty is like when you have coaches that are moving and they're starting to do things, how do you help accelerate that? How do you help them see? Because those are the things they don't know yet. We do want to offer you a challenge for this, of some homework to walk away from. So Meg, do you want to talk about the first one? And then I can take the second, and then we're going to give you some time for some question and answer.
Awesome. So the first thing that we would say in the homework or the action step for you is to find one coach tonight who is close to their next rank or milestone or advancement, and send them a message and let them know they are just one life away, or, however you want to phrase it. But reach out to them and see if they're willing to run hip to hip. We have a whole week left in the month. See if they're ready and willing to run hip to hip to find that next life over the next week. So that's the first thing that we recommend that you do.
That's awesome. And really, hopefully you'll see that all you're doing is extending an arm to them, right? We're not, some people will say, well, I don't want to step on their toes, or it's their business, but you're their eyes for their business. Remember, you're the CEO, so you can see what they can't see. And that's what a good coach does, right? So this will be fun. And we just want you to test the waters with this. And the second thing is we want to ask you, do you know what your client or your coaches want? Have you had that conversation recently with them? And if not, I know that one team, they were actually going to go back and revisit with all of their coaches and just revisit and find out what do they want and what could they use some help with moving forward. And when I said that question, when I asked the question, what do you want? Sometimes in my weekly mentoring calls, I shouldn't say sometimes, very often in weekly mentoring calls, they'll end up in the reasons why they didn't take the action, right? Well, the kids got sick and this happened and it's COVID and it's this and there's all the reasons. And a lot of times the question is just, Meg, what do you want? What do you want with your business? And how can we make that work with all the life that you have, right? Just bringing them back to what they want. So the only way we know that is by asking the question. So we just challenge you this week with all of your coaches, schedule a time if you don't have one on the calendar already, and let's just find out what they want. And they're going to appreciate you coming side by side with them.
That is awesome, right. Dee. I think we should offer it up to some questions if anybody has questions out there. Does that sound good? And it looks like Siata has one. And as they start to come in, this is perfect. Awesome. Just want to find out, has this been helpful? Good. I love that. All right. So Siata asked, do you do your coach mentoring calls at the same time when you're checking in on them as a client? And the answer is typically yes. We'll start with asking about their personal health in their coach mentoring call. So it's not 2 separate calls. Katie asked, can coaches schedule tips calls with FIBIX oh, okay. So you mean asking tips calls like for the business, like how to grow your business is I think what you're asking. Definitely talk to your mentorship line for sure. If you have dreams and goals, your FIBIX and your mentorship line want to help you run hip to hip to accomplish them. So yes. All right, anything other, and please think of some more questions. We're here, we've got about 6 minutes to go. And just curious, would it be helpful to know a couple of the key strategies that you could find to help maybe a new coach move from health coach to senior coach? Would that be helpful? Okay, so keep coming with the questions if you think of them, but we're just gonna ad lib and Dee, just jump in any minute here. Yeah, if you have somebody who's running for senior coach, we always say, what do you think you can do to find that last person to help? And then you be quiet and see what they might say, just some ideas. And we always want to only offer that idea when they can't think of any, right? When they're done with their ideas. But it could be a Facebook Live. It could be asking for referrals of their current clients And a tip that I love doing is saying, hey, has Optavia brought value to your life? I say this to a client and they're like, well, yeah, it's been amazing, da, 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 da. I'm like, well, great. Who do you know who needs that same value? And then you just close your mouth and you let it be awkwardly silent for a minute, and they're thinking, and they'll find those two people. It's funny. They'll find those two people. So that's a great one. If you've got someone that's really close and maybe somebody running towards Fibic, it's always good to see what are the orders coming up at the first couple of days of the next month. Is it a family member that could move their order up a little bit earlier? You know, that's not going to be a sustainable solution, but in a pinch, that could work. So that's a good one to be thinking about. So we talked about Facebook Live, sharing their story. That's a huge one. Their story is going to be more powerful than anyone else's. And you could also interview them on Facebook Live on their own page. When you do that, people see a level of your heart that they don't see elsewhere.
Yeah, I love that, Meg. And I think, yeah, the more vulnerable we can be and teach our coaches to be with our own journeys and our own stories is powerful. And those Facebook Lives, that voice on Facebook is huge. A lot of my coaches, when they're close to the ranks, you know, they'll call, we'll talk about it, and they'll, first of all, go through all of their follow-ups, anybody they've ever spoken to about the program. I'll say, who's ever asked you about this program? Why don't you, let's reach back out to them, invite them to a health assessment. But also just letting your friends and family know, like a personal phone call, like, hey, Meg, you know what? I am really looking to grow my business this month. There's so many people that are looking to get healthy. I'm just calling to see if you know anybody that might be interested in improving their health. And that one is very often the one that leads to it. Either that person says, well, maybe I might be, or enough of those calls lead you to somebody. All right, what other questions do we have?
I think that was it.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure if the question was answered. If a family member moved an order up, but they already placed an order, does it count? Laura, there's two different scenarios. If it's for when somebody's looking to reach senior coach, they have to be 5 separate people ordering and meeting the minimum of 1,200. But if that was somebody who was looking for executive director, or they're going to be director and they only need $300 more, and there's an order sitting there for $300, that person might have ordered on the 1st of this month. But if we encouraged them to order on the 30th of the month, it would count. That volume would count towards their next order, and they're not going to miss out next month because they would be ordering again on the 30th of October. All right, so it can definitely be a win. Not an ongoing practice, because we do want to help our coaches create sustainable businesses. Always want to create, we don't want to always just be moving orders of existing people. The goal is to grow, but sometimes in a pinch that might work.
And Michelle asked, the check-in sheet says 2 times per week after the first week. We go to 1 right away. I'm not sure what check-in sheet you're referring to with that one, Michelle. Do you?
Yeah, there's an Optavia check-in sheet that there has been some evidence that, let's say you start a client on Monday, and then you do your first couple day check-ins. Now they're going to head into the weekend by themselves. So sometimes that doing a check-in, or even the following week doing their check-in on Monday, but then maybe doing one on Friday, can be valuable too. That's purely a personal coach decision to do that, but it really can be a good practice, just a quick little touch base. But after that second week, just once a week, and and then any support as needed. Yeah, great point, Larry. Follow up with clients. If you see clients pushing orders out, always making sure that you're in touch with them, trying to figure out what do they need, what's going on that they don't need their order. Very good. Give it another minute. Let's see, 8:59.
How about that for timing?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Meg, for all your experience, everything that you brought to this. I think it was awesome. We hope it was helpful for you guys. Really just want to really help you see the simplicity of it and calm your nerves around it. Work with your mentorship on this. Like, we want to help you be successful. So let's get clear on what you want. And then we'll work on those next steps to help your coaches acquire what they want. So thanks so much. We'll have this recording posted tomorrow, and we'll see you next time. Bye.